things like that. And then we'll go from there. So again, looking forward to this. I know that this is going to be beneficial because, one of the greatest challenges of any business is continually marketing their business. And so that's what we're looking to do today. So we'll get started. So what is marketing? Marketing basically is any and all activities that a business takes to promote the buying or selling of their products or services. It's advertising, it's selling, it's delivering, it's customer service, it's networking. All of those things go into marketing a business. And there's three basic components of marketing. There's the person, there's the place, and the time. And what we're looking to do is do our best to put our marketing messages in the right time and in right place so that when that person is looking for your services, either they're already familiar with the work that you do or the business that you have, or they run across you during that period. We're going to talk quite a bit about the different stages of that and what that looks like. This later this week is the customer buying journey and content marketing. And customer buying journey is an important part of understanding how to reach people before they even know they need you. Marketing is important. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but what it does is it gives us a chance to talk about our business, to let people know what we do, what our services are. It engages them. And then at the time of their purchase or their need or their trigger, as we like to call it, they are able to know who we are and helps them make the buying decision on who they're going to purchase from. So there's the traditional, you know, textbook version of marketing. There's 4 P's that are involved. Um, there's product, there's price, there's place, and promotion. And we're going to go into a little bit more detail about each of these. And, over time, it's still relevant that this is kind of the larger parts of marketing. And so we're going to start with the product itself. So, one of the roles, the products that you sell, and a product doesn't have to be tangible. If you're a service-based industry, your product is your service. But it's letting people know what it is we're selling and what that product or that service can do to help them, to assist them. Many times people are triggered from a pain point, something that they're in need of or they realize they don't have. And so that triggers them to need a product or service. And so taking a deep dive into what we're offering and how we're able to describe that is an important first step in marketing. We need to know who the customer is. What product features does the market demand? Who the competitors are. That's a huge part of marketing is understanding your competitors and how to do better than those competitors. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to just differentiate yourself from those around you with the uniqueness of the product, the uniqueness of your service, what it is you offer, and how you offer it. The second part of marketing, the 4 P's, is price. Price is a huge factor. We know that. A lot of times I say, when you're thinking about marketing your business, think about how you are marketed to. Price does play an important part in most every purchasing decision. We want to be competitive, and it's kind of particularly important on the internet, because we can instantly compare prices between sites and businesses, etc. But the lowest price is not always the end result, because if there is something that you're doing better, if there's something that you're doing differently, there's something that you're offering that is unique, you may be able to charge a higher price. But the key in that and the success in that is letting people understand the value of what it is that you're offering and why you're asking them to pay more. One of the things when you're determining prices, we like to talk about the floor and the ceiling. That's the lowest and the highest price that we think people will pay for your product or service, and be able to understand that so you can find where you want to fall in that. So as it explains, a price ceiling is the highest price that can be charged for a product or service. Sometimes it's the result of a government regulation, rent control, or something of that. But oftentimes it's the research that we do to understand that other competitors that are selling the same product or service, what's the highest they're charging and why? So on the higher end, you're going to be looking at factors of what it is that differentiate them, how they're selling it, what the results that they get from are that would justify them having a higher cost. And then the price floor is that the lowest price that may be charged for a product. And that may come into, what is the lowest price you can charge for a product or service where you're still generating a profit. If you're a service-based industry, I know with us, what we would do is we would base it on hours. If someone said, hey, we need a logo. Okay. You need a logo of 25 hours or you need a logo of 10 hours. And we would base that on the number of hours that we knew that it would take to design that. And so therefore it gave it a floor and a ceiling price. When the price floor is high, consumers may be less likely to buy. So the actual production that you have, if it's a tangible product, should be limited. But also, always be aware of the low and the high that affect your market. So, a price control can result in a shortage or an excess depending on where you are. If you price too low and people buy, but again, it's more of you want to be competitive and you want to make money. And so understanding where you are in relation to others that are in your industry. So quantity. So when you maximize sale, it is possible to have a lower price point. So if you have a high quantity of a product, if you end up, you can actually lower the price because you can sell it at a little lower price and still make money. For return on investments, prices may be set for a specific return on investment. So a price may be higher, but requires few customer sales. So you can charge more, and I don't need to sell as much to make the profit, as opposed to charging less and having to sell more. What is the value to customers? When a product has a perceived value to consumers, they're willing to pay more for it. I know many of y'all are familiar with this crumble cookie company that I just find fascinating because they're charging to me, a lot of money for a cookie. And number two, the cookies aren't that good. But they have people wrapped around buildings, or at least they did a couple months ago. I haven't gone. But what's fascinating is they played on this idea of shortage and exclusivity, and they're making a lot of money. So again, it's how you have a perceived value of what it is you're offering and selling that will help determine what you're able to charge. And then, of course, there's popular prices. People are willing to pay familiar price points. I mean, that's why you see $9.99 and $19.99, $4.99. Over decades of conditioning, we as consumers are accustomed to seeing those familiar numbers. You don't ever see something on sale for $19.07. And there's a reason. It's because we've been conditioned to understand $19.99. And oftentimes, most consumers are unwilling to go above those price points. Third is place. And so place is defined as how and where customers will buy a product or service from you. And it's another important factor that marketing influences. And place happens even before we touch on promotion. So we understand, how are they going to buy from you? Where are they buying from you? Now, market research here offers insights into important information. So customer shopping habits, online, in person, delivery, pickup, those type of things, so that we're able to determine the shopper's shopping habits, and also looking at how competitors are selling their products or services that are related to ours. So then we can determine the optimal distribution model. So again, understanding how people are going to buy from us, where they're doing it, is an important part of meeting them where they are. And that's part of that graphic that I showed a minute ago: time, place, person. And then last is the promotion. We're going to spend more time on promotion than anything throughout these next 4 weeks. But, promotion is about the practices and tactics that we use to reach our target audience with our message. So blog post creation, obviously social media, obviously email, traditional marketing, networking. Those are all, ways of advertising and marketing our business. So marketers are usually associated with activities from this area of marketing, and this image is not wrong. Once the strategic components of marketing are in place, once we get that mapped out, marketers spend most of their time, we spend most of our time on promoting. So once we have the price down and once we have the person and once we understand, who our target audience, we spend more time doing promoting, and that's where we should. Um, Now, having said that, you always want to kind of keep an eye and an ear open for if your target market changes or if there's a new service you've offered that then is tailored towards a different market than when you're serving before. That's another important part. But again, you're going to spend more time in promotion when it comes to marketing than anything else. And so when you're thinking about promotion, and like I said, we're going to spend most of the next 4 sessions together or 3 sessions thinking about promotion and talking about that. There's certain things that we need to know. Who are we trying to reach? What marketing channels work best? We're going to go into a lot of detail on the social media digital channels. What is a typical buying journey of our prospects? And we're going to talk about buying journeys. And what budget and staff do we need to achieve our goals? Now that I've downsized so far, I've recently kind of hit up against a wall and realized, wait, I haven't been marketing my own business the way I should because I relied so much before on having a team that was doing things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I haven't written blog articles. I haven't written, I mean, I just started sending out newsletters. I believe some of y'all are getting them. But again, it was one of those things. It's like, wait, now I've got to go back and do those things that I didn't do because I don't have the staff to do them. And so it's one of those things that we always have to be aware of and always keep in motion. I'm having to write my own marketing plan, which is kind of funny. But I realized because I'm operating in so many different areas, I need that written schedule to remind me of touch points of things that need to happen. So again, the marketing mix, product, price, place, and promotion. And then somewhere in the middle is our target market. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking at as we understand how to better market our business. So one key point in all of this is market research. And I got to say, it's so exciting now because we have, I mean, just with AI, we have more available than ever before. I can do more market research in a matter of minutes that used to take me hours and days to do. But again, it's an important part to understand what those components are and what that looks like. So 2 levels of market research. We need primary information and secondary information. So primary information is stuff that we do on ourselves, for ourselves, or we have an employee do. Secondary information is provided by larger agencies or government agencies and other organizations that actually offer market information. So there's our ground level, kind of like I call the grassroots research that we're doing, where we're looking at competitors, seeing what they're doing. But then there's also, we're looking at larger scale regional information, regional growth statistics, things of that nature that help us determine in our area what the needs are for the market and how we can fulfill those based on the work and services and products that we're offering. Then once we're able to collect this information, it helps us determine price, product development or product promotion, and our target audience. And again, using AI, we're going to talk about that at some point a little bit more. I can do a lot of great, research about, for example, Natchitoches area offering these services. What are people looking for? What are the trends? And gather a lot of information, useful information. So primary research for primary sources for market research are surveys. Surveys are hugely important to customers and in general. Focus groups where we pick a few key people or key partners or key customers, and we have a group focus with them. We have them particular questions. We go through Q&As and things of that nature. So we're getting an individualized answer, asking them about, things about the market, what we're trying to do. Personal interviews are very important to interview individuals directly. Observation, looking at what's going on around us, looking at trends in consumer behavior. I often reference, whenever, Amazon created what it did, it changed our consumer behavior. And then moving along, we had COVID. And then next thing you know, I've got DoorDash and Delivery Dash and all these things where a consumer will pay 2 to 3 times more than what the product is worth to have it delivered to them. But then that became an expectation for business owners, depending on what type of business they're in, to make sure and offer those services because it became an expectation and now it's a norm. Where once that was a luxury, now it's normal and people pay that. Um, Another way of market research is trials, trials and tests kind of thing. But again, you're putting these things together. They don't have to be extreme. You don't have to overthink them. But again, you're just trying to put information, put things out there to gather information. There we go. So secondary information, that was the larger group. So news and media, government agencies, market publications, competitor reports, market researchers, and that's misspelled, AI tools, using Chat GPT to do the research for you, putting in the correct prompts and allowing it to aggregate and put the information together for you as far as what you're looking to try to accomplish in your market. Another huge part of marketing in general is customer communications. Obviously, we focus a lot on what we communicate to our customers. We also need to remember what they're communicating with us is, to me, more important than what we're telling them. We need to have a way of hearing what our customers are saying. So we need to give them a voice, give them a way of communicating with us about how their experience is with us. Customer surveys, groups, interviews, rewards programs. By putting that out there, and that's why we see it so many times on receipts and everybody's here to take our survey. It's just those brands and those companies understands the importance of at least letting that consumer know that you have a voice and I want to hear from you. And then the other part is taking a moment to consider customer feedback and going out of your way to engage your target audience. So again, really putting into place some small ways that people can let you know what their experience is during, before, and after they purchase from you. Understanding that every interaction counts, every single sale, every single engagement with a potential customer matters. Every interaction that your employee has with a customer is a marketing opportunity to promote your company or brand. Answer questions honestly that customers may ask. And then, of course, listen and be respectful. Even in those, right now, I'm working with a client who's got some bad social going on, and we're just trying to understand how to better address that professionally and honestly about some things that have happened. And that's the important part. Be transparent when you have those experiences, and we'll talk more about that as well. So marketing, sales, public relations, just real quick. Each one is a little different. Obviously, marketing is promoting, sales is trying to close the sales, and public relations is just letting people know what our business is about, what our impact is. And they're a little bit different, and they have a little bit of a crossover. But again, just understanding the differences in those help us understand what we're doing. Because many times, and we're going to talk more about this as well, when we're marketing, we're trying to sell, but subtly. Marketing is different in sales because marketing is promoting who we are. Marketing is promoting what our business does, how it helps us, how it can help the consumer, how it can help the general, consumer place. Where sales is a particular sell that I'm asking for. So there's a little bit difference in those, and understanding the subtle differences allows you to have a better impact. So that's a little bit of 101 marketing stuff. Hope that wasn't too painful. And now we're going to move more into understanding marketing strategy. So I said at the end of this, the goal in this is to work in the workbooks and have a solid marketing strategy in place. So what we're going to be looking at is multi-channel marketing. So that's networking. And you notice I put networking first, and I'm going to explain that further. Social media, websites, seminars, podcasts, email, search engine optimization, blogs, paid advertising, organic search results. All of those are the multi-channel pieces. And then we're going to work on a marketing plan. And so understanding early, what can a plan do? So I am 24 years into this, and I realize I have not written a marketing plan, and I am suffering the consequences of that. So even for me, who I'm teaching marketing, I understand that a marketing plan, to whatever level of complexity I want that to be, it's a roadmap to help me understand what I need to do, when I need to do it, and what I'm trying to achieve. It helps with management control and implementation of strategy if you have a team, or even if you're by yourself. A marketing plan allows for, someone was saying they're hiring new people. It informs new participants of their roles in implementing the plan and reaching the overall company objectives. A marketing plan can help in assisting financial and other resources. So if you're going to be asking for money or investment, a marketing plan is going to be a key component of what that individual, that bank, or that financial institution is looking for. Marketing plans stimulate your thinking, and it definitely helps you make better use of limited resources. I have limited resources. It's just me right now. And so I know I only have so much time. And by not having that plan, I've been missing the boat on a certain thing. So I'm kind of excited by having this little written thing, setting calendar reminders, knowing this week I'm working on this. Um, because of having limited resources, I know that I'll be able to get things done. It helps assign responsibilities, even responsibilities and timing, even if that's just with yourself. And it also gives you a chance to kind of predict problems, look for opportunities, and challenges and threats. So that's one of the main things for marketing plans. So the components of a marketing plan consist of objectives and goals. We're going to work on that. The budget. A key component of a marketing plan is doing a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Competitive analysis. Then we're going to look at working on target market and the persona of our customers. Content creation, what it is we're going to create and how we're going to get it out there. The implementation of the plan, what that looks like. The actions and tactics and tasks that need to be done to implement the plan. And then the time frame of which then we're going to use analytics and metrics to measure. But before we do that, and this is something that I developed that I found was missing. One of the things I found was missing in every single marketing plan and almost every single marketing class I went to was they left out, and to me, a fundamental part, and that's understanding you and your message and developing that before I start trying to figure out a plan. So in your workbook, you'll find some of this. So what I want you to do, the most important part for me in marketing of almost every business, and I can't do a blanket statement, but it's your story. What is the story of who you are, what you're doing, what you're trying to achieve, why you're trying to achieve this? The greatest marketing comes from stories. And to understand what stories do, you can reflect on yourself. You know that a good story moves you, it makes you think, it feel, it strikes an emotional chord, and it speaks to us in ways that numbers and data and presentation slides don't. There's no way. Um, and the strongest stories tap into people's emotion. It connects with them, and it helps them believe in a business, in your business, and what it stands for. And so today, for the rest of today, we're going to focus on what those components look like to develop a story. So storytelling is a competitive advantage. We always talk about competitive advantage. A good story and a good story told is an extreme competitive advantage. A clear communicated story, it's the backbone of a great, strong marketing strategy. Heartfelt storytelling is profitable and it's humanizing. It brings humanization to us, and it connects people, and it creates brand loyalty beyond anything else is the story. Components include a clear message, an easy to follow narrative, an element to emotionally engage the audience immediately. What is the hook? We hear the word hook. What is the emotional hook that is part of your story about why y'all are sitting here doing this, why you want this business that someone else can relate to? The story has to have character and personality. It should have an optimistic and positive vision, even if the origins of that story, because I work with businesses that have been a result of challenging human issues. sicknesses in the family, deaths in the family, loss of money, loss of jobs, loss of opportunities, which aren't hard and sad and painful, but it's what they've been able to do with that story that has inspired the movement forward to start this business, to provide these products and services to people to help uplift them, that turns it into an optimistic and positive vision. And a story has an ask. So the first thing we do is we start with your why. We've all heard that by now. What is the why of your business? The author Simon Sinek made that, a household term now. But again, it doesn't go without saying that understanding your story starts with your why. So, who are you? So first, we're going to start with you. And these sections are in the workbook. Let me just see if I can't flip to the workbook real quick. You just kind of show you where that section is. And this is actually where you can go in marketing. Okay, story. Who are you? And then I'll go into these. So these are the actual sections that you can start filling in. You can fill them in now while I'm talking. You can come back and fill them in later. But the key is it's important to write these words down, because you may know them in your head and you may think you know them in your head. But until you take the time to fill these out, it's still just in your head. I have worked with clients now for several years, and they have said these next 3, 4, 5 pages were the hardest things they've ever done when it comes to their business, because they've never been, I don't like the word forced, they've never been tasked to write these words, to define who they are. And to articulate that has, for many of them, been excruciating. But when they were done, it gave them clarity, it gave them focus, it gave them understanding. So it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. So again, you're going to be answering these questions. What do you believe in as a human, as a person? What are your personal aspirations? What are your dreams? What do you enjoy doing? How do you want your life to be? This is all about you right now. Next is what inspired you? What about your business? Why did y'all decide to start a business? What inspired you? What were the circumstances? Was there a need you saw? Or was there something that you thought you could do that was better or different than what you saw being offered? The next part of that is, what impact do you want to have with your business? Now, this is where we're getting into the larger impact. Yes, obviously, I want to make money. That's the reason. But there's a greater impact that I want to have. I want to make a difference? Do I want to help people realize or do something, or, learn something about themselves that they did not know? And what do you see your business representing in your community? So as you can tell, these are some pretty decent questions. It's not something you sit around and talk about, but it's definitely worth taking some time and exploring, and exploring with your mentors as well, as because they're familiar with this too. But again, taking the time to begin writing some of this down, getting the words down, because what's going to happen is there's a lot of repetition in this marketing discovery process. It's a lot of repetition. But what happens is, by repeating the words and the questions and the answers, you're refining them. You may not even know you're refining them. But what you're doing is you're condensing the narrative down that eventually will be developed into the clear, concise, emotional, truth-inspiring story about why you do what you do. And that is the story behind your business and you. Next is, now we're moving into the purposes of your company. What do you feel that the purpose of the companies are? Are you doing this to help people make a difference in people's lives? Do you have a better product or service to offer? Is there something unique about your product or services? So you understanding the purposes of your company will allow you to connect with others effectively. Because if you can't define this, they won't understand it. If you can't explain this, no amount of social graphics, YouTube video will ever explain this if you can't articulate it. The next part is, what are the goals of your company? I talked earlier, just a few slides ago, about what are your aspirations, your beliefs, and your things. But what are your goals of your company? Do you want financial stability? Do you want to create a positive work culture? Do you want to provide meaningful and lucrative employment for others? So, what are the goals of your company? Do you want to change the world with your company? But again, writing those things down specifically and being able to answer them is a key component in developing marketing messaging. Next, what makes you different? What makes your company different? Um, a lot of times, whenever I'm asked this question, people jump into the factual differences of them and them competitors. But when you really look at it, there's not a lot of differences between us and our competitors. If we're all, products and services overall, there's a similarity, there's a range. But there's the difference is you, it's your story, it's why you do this, is what you believe in. I've said this many years. I can have a room full of people all in the same business, working in a marketing strategy. The one thing that's not the same is those individuals, their experience, their perspective, their narrative, why they do this. Everyone is a little bit different in that aspect. And so capturing that helps identify what makes you different as a business. Is there something unique you can offer? Do you have a unique way of operating? Is your process a little bit different? But again, taking the time to kind of explore this, think about this, and writing this, key point writing, putting the words down, um, is the important exercise in developing the narrative. Now we're moving in company values. And those have done this before. We're moving into core values. But right now, what are the values of your company? What is important? Is it transparency? Is it authenticity? They're very nebulous words. They're very, kind of woo-woo words, but they mean something because we all can relate to them. But again, what is important to you? What do you want your company to represent? And being able to write those words down with this is going to continue to help you with the message. So now that we've gotten this stuff, now you're not going to be able to sit down and do all this at one time, right? I forgot to mention that. This is layers of things. So I would recommend getting to this point and taking a break and then coming back, because now what you're going to do is you're going to take all of that information, all of those words that you have put as much as possible here, brands, goals. And when I mention brands, it's company. What is your brand company's purposes, goals, missions? What are the company values? So you're going to sit back with that. And what you're going to begin doing, you want to use a little AI, you can too, but you're going to begin observing what it is that you have written down and being able to extract the key messages, and you're going to begin developing your mission statement. I start vision statement because I'm more of kind of a vision oriented person, and I'm going to explain the difference in those here. I believe every single business that operates needs to have a clear and vision and mission and core values that they relate to. Um, but this is what you're looking to get right now. And so let's go back here. So the mission. So just to kind of talk a little bit about mission statements. So it describes an organization's purpose and overall intention. Um, a mission is concise explanation of why the business exists. It supports the vision and it serves to communicate the purpose and direction to employees, to customers, to vendors, and other stakeholders. So it's the mission of the company. And so there's a few essential elements that every mission statement should do. It should address the customers, obviously. It's going to incorporate employees. A good crafted mission statement clearly defines to everybody involved in this business what this company represents. It shows what you bring to the table. It will touch on your goals. It will showcase an authentic philosophy that has come from those exercises that I pointed out a few moments ago, because no one is going to write the same stuff down. None of y'all are going to write the same things down because you have different experience and different come froms. And that's what we're trying to capture in the mission statement. And it shows a little bit of a glimpse how you're hoping to benefit society, how you're hoping to benefit your consumers and customers. So here's some examples. Now, mission statements, they ideally should be very short. They ideally should be, a sentence, if not two. It may take time or a little bit of AI manipulation to take all the words, because if you really look at a lot of these questions, let me go back. How do you go back? If you're looking at, I think here we go here. No. If you're looking at these questions, these are a lot of words. Okay, I'm gonna address my customers, talk about my employees, I'm gonna describe my goals, what's my philosophy, how I'm gonna benefit society. That's 5 questions, right? And that's different answers. But by putting them together, and you may be using a little AI to consolidate, you really do want to bring it all together, and that's the wonderful experience of doing a mission statement. Um, So Wix, the web developer, or the website thing, their mission is to create your own professional web presence exactly the way you want. Google is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. TED, spread ideas. Tesla, to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Very easy to understand. I understand that for smaller businesses, the mission statement may be a little longer, and that's okay. Okay. So the vision statement. So the vision statement is, to me, uh, represents the idealism of your business. To me, a mission statement, if it's done correctly, is something you'll never achieve. It's something you're constantly reaching for. It's what you envision happening. Um, it's inspirational, and it's an inspirational statement of an idealistic, emotional future of your company or your group or what you're trying to do. The vision describes the basic human emotion that a founder, you, intends to be experienced by the people the organization interacts with. This is the lofty one. I like to live in vision statements. This is the one that inspires. This is the one that emotionally connects. This is the one that says, oh, this is what this company envisions for its future and the impact of what its products and services do on to consumers. So specifically, some elements of vision, I'm sorry, is it's motivating, it's inspirational, it's brief, it's specific, and more importantly, in anything, it connects emotionally. Disney, to make people happy. Google, to provide access to the world's information in one click. Not exactly true, but okay. IKEA, to create a better everyday life for the many people. Instagram, capture and share the world's moments. So again, this is what they're wanting to do. I mean, Disney's is my favorite, to make people happy. And it's inspirational, it's short. And again, us being smaller businesses and, not Disney, it may be a few more words than that, but you really want to be able to be inspired by both your mission and your vision statements. So that's part of the exercise that you have here in the workbook. Is, as I said, taking that information and begin writing it out. And then last but not least, when we were talking about the values of your company, go ahead and come up with 3 to 6 core values of what you feel your company represents and writing those down. And right here, this page here is the culmination and the beginning of what your marketing message is going to be. because everything you write, everything you post, everything you talk about in person should be grounded in your mission, vision, and core values. One time I had a newer social media employee. She came and she was like, she's taking over our social media too, of course. And she's like, she would always come to me and ask, Orhan, do I post this, or should I post this, or should I not post this? And then I would go and I would simply say, and I was very big on sharing mission and vision. I said, we went through it and I said, you understand? I said, if it supports these three areas, it goes out. If it does not support these three areas, it does not go out. She never came and asked again. And that is also what doing this can do for your consumers. You're not trying to attract every person in the world. Let's be real. We're not selling to everybody, nor do we want to. We really want to, the people we want to do business with, we want them to align with who we are. How do we let them know who we are? Well, first of all, we have to decide that. We have to decide what those words mean and what that means to us. And then we promote that. And then this stage here, by doing this, is the foundation to which we are going to begin doing everything else, begin building newsletters and digital marketing and all the other stuff that come with that. But this is the step one. So I encourage everybody to go through this as much as you can. I know we're a little condensed, but do something, put some of the words down, even if you're auto voice dictating them or something of that nature. Begin thinking about those questions and seeing what those answers develop for you. So that's it for this part of today. I definitely am open to any questions or any re-explanation of any of the parts that I spoke about.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Orhan? Yeah, I didn't get a copy of that workbook.
Okay.
So how do I access it?
I emailed it out to everybody last week.
Oh.
Did you get the email?
I'll check. I'll double check then.
Yeah, it's
That's
also in the chat.
wonderful. That was a wonderful presentation. Excellent.
Did you feel
Agree. Very good.
Because I mean, even Denise, with you and the Airbnbs,
Yes.
you're not renting a place. Because of what you're doing, there's a story behind it. And because of where you are in the community, there's a story behind it. People come to it because of the story. You're going to tap your story into the greater story, and that's how you do it. And there's a reason you do this. And what, you know what I mean? And we talked about that, but it's getting it on paper.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
And then if you don't get that workbook, I'll send you a copy. Actually, I'll go ahead and
okay. I love what you just said. It makes so much sense.
Anybody else? Okay. All right. So our next one, just to kind of give a little preview of that, is let me go to my the next one is going to be, so on Thursday, is the consumer buying journey and inbound marketing. So we're going to get into understanding how consumers act and behave and think on that whole little buying cycle. And then talking about what inbound marketing looks like. And that's going to become part of the content creation. Session 3, I'm sorry, is digital marketing. We're going to spend the whole time talking about that. And we're going to touch on preparing the marketing strategy. And the last session is actually going through the steps of the marketing strategy. We will have done some of them in the previous things and putting some of that stuff together so that that you all can walk away with a working, document, or at least a working plan to move forward.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That was a great session. I'm very, very glad that we're finally able to bring marketing learning to the program outside of just those the clinics, because this is super useful stuff. I'm finding it very helpful for my business. I'm certainly going to be filling out the worksheet and using this knowledge as much as possible for what I'm doing, because I'm not a marketing person, but you know, when you run a small business, you got to be the marketing person. So, thanks everybody for joining today. I'll see you on Thursday, hopefully at 10, but you can choose any of those sessions where we will continue this marketing learning. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the
Bye,
rest of your day.
everybody. Thank you.
Bye.